very much. My name is Tina Colter. I've had, I want to say, the great blessing of being able to work with animals for the last 20 plus years. And I was introduced to this company of LifeWave about 4.5 years ago. And I always like to say, not all gifts are wrapped in pretty little bows. And the way that I was brought into Lifeway was definitely not a pretty way, as my horse was severely injured. And I was looking for something to optimize her repair. Because as a body worker on horses and dogs and other four-legged animals, I truly believe, given the right tools, our body's ability to rebuild and repair is phenomenal. And I was looking for something because I didn't want to buy into the thought that I was about to lose my horse. And what my dear friend Angeline didn't know was that I was about 30 days in to hitting a wall because the swelling in my horse's leg was so large. And if we look at anything that's going on in the body, and if there's any swelling or such in our body or inflammation, our body's repair. We cannot repair. It's like all of those master cells that can turn into whatever we need for our body hits that wall of inflammation and gets killed off. So I'll share a little bit about LifeWave and how they've done some really, really amazing studies on swelling and really being able to put that fire out in the body and bring in the construction crew. I like to keep this simple because really the company of LifeWave has really done the complex work for us. So if we can keep it simple, sharing it forward, we're able to impact a lot of animals, a lot of people's lives. So as I move forward with that, I got LifeWave, as skeptical as I was, pulled out the patches as small as they were, and said to myself, "You've got to be kidding me." But I was open enough to try. So whoever invited you here, we're going to open up for Q&As after. So I would love for you guys to come, bring your questions. Like that's what we're here. We're here to inform, to educate. I'm here 4.5 years later because after a day and a half, all the swelling I was fighting with my horse's leg was gone. And I was on my hands and knees trying to figure out how the heck did this happen from such a small technology. So we're going to talk about that. Now, as we have, our bodies can't decipher between physical or emotional pain. I want to kind of talk about that. Neither can we. It prevents very similar. So, we've heard of studies being proven that you can die from a broken heart. So we want to focus on physical and emotional here. And really what pain is it's a blockage of the bioelectrical conductivity within our cells, within our animal cells. So what I got to notice when I started putting this technology on other horses was I was able to lower or eliminate their reactive response in under a minute. And the best thing about animals and demoing and showing on animals is you cannot placebo animals. And what got my attention with this company was that David Schmidt, the owner, founder, inventor of this technology, and if you ever can hear him in a recorded or a live version talking about the technology, I highly recommend doing that because then you'll really know what you actually have in your hands here. Um, with that, with the AccuLife that I'm going to be talking about tonight, it's like acupuncture without the needles. David was smart to get my attention, and I'm sure other people's attention, but for me, I was really intrigued that he had done 2 clinical studies on horses. And so we're talking about horses here because that got my attention. And he did have a placebo group in one of the trials. And in that placebo group, guess how many horses were affected by the placebo? 0. So how this technology works with the IceWave, it's a tan and a white patch, and it's a positive and a negative, and it's like acupuncture without the needles. When we can open that flow of energy back into our body when there's a blockage and we unblock, that's why we're getting such amazing quick indications, lowering, softening, or even eliminating somebody's severe discomfort as well as our animals. So of course we can have injury, illness, repetitive movements, stress, more. So why does it work so quickly? I just shared that with you. So around the 18 clinical studies on pain and inflammation, we have had that done on two in 2005 and 2011. No fewer than 175 horses. So the clinical studies referred to the patch technology as IceWave. When LifeWave brought the patch technology to horses, they renamed it AccuLife. So I hear a lot of people go, well, what's the difference between IceWave and AccuLife? And I'll tell you the difference, the name. So if I don't have AccuLife, I use IceWave. If I don't have IceWave, I use AccuLife. Now, how does it work when we stimulate the body with low levels of light? So it works on our own personal light, our animals' personal light. So our animals' infrared light reflects back into the patch technology using our body heat and our light. And then it reflects our own light back in to our body in a specific frequency that allows for it to communicate and open up different areas. So when we increase the flow of energy through our cellular system, when we stimulate acupressure points, and I love the nervous system. That's where I start and all the nerves and how it communicates through the body. But did you know acupressure points are 200 times faster than our nervous system? So when somebody says, how can it be so small and work so efficiently? That is why. Now, how quickly does it work? I love that they quantified the effects in the clinical trials with thermal imaging cameras because that measures temperature, it measures light. And so a lot of people will ask, well, how can this work over fur? When we take pictures and we can see how our body emits light, it's it's through clothing as well. So you can actually see our light come through clothing. So somebody says, I'm a little uncomfortable with it. I don't want it on my skin. This technology works on clothing. Now, what they did in this study, this is Hawkeye in one of the clinical studies, is they placed one set of the Aculife patches on the top line, meaning the back of the horse. And if you kind of notice the hollowness of this horse, it's holding its head up a little bit higher. And the temperature ratings, the reds, the purples, and the whites are higher temperatures. The yellows and the greens are the cooler temperatures. Where there's heat, you know that there's probably discomfort. And the way that this horse is standing in the top photo is showing that it is uncomfortable with that hollowing of the back. Now, I want you to kind of pay attention to this top photo because in the right where my mouse is, there's a cool spot. So there's something going on circulation wise. Now, 10 minutes later, there's a lot of modalities out there. There is a lot, and they all have a benefit. But what got my attention is how quickly and efficiently this technology works because the below photo is only 10 minutes after application. And you're putting the patch on the top of the horse, but look at the whole body system. So it's not patching here for this and here for this. It's opening up that whole body flow in this horse and lowering that temperature. But what's really cool is when we open the energy channels, the body is an amazing way that it can go, we need to do this here, we need to do that. Even if we think it should go somewhere else, our body's way smarter than what we think it should do. But if you notice, they actually circled where it actually was cool at the top and heated up at the bottom. So though it is, we share that it is for lowering that pain and inflammation for horses, it's doing so much more, even more than we even think we realize, which is really cool. Now, if you look at the way that the horse is standing in the below photo, the head is lowered, the back is softer, it's not so hollowed out. The horse is actually in a position of looking and feeling more relaxed. I see that all the time after I do bodywork sessions. So to be able to put this technology on and get a deeper session with one session that used to take me 3 sessions to work through their discomfort is such a value added. That is why I'm here to promote it because then people can have it in their hand. They can make their horse, your animals feel better without having somebody there, and it can be an added value and you feel empowered to do it. Now, you do not have to be a professional body worker like I do. I'm going to share with you how that works for you. But I also want to share with you when you see thermal imaging photos with other modalities, it's multiple applications to get and weeks apart to get what we get with one application and 10 minutes later. Now, I'm going to share my journey of my horse, and I'm going to share with you some photos that you may want to turn away if you do not like gory photos, because I can share that my horse severely injured herself, but the photos really show you how bad it was. I should never have been able to ride my horse again. It should have taken over a year of recovery, if not more, and she should have walked around with a limp. And I was told maybe it's time to say goodbye. But because of LifeWave, because my friend shared it with me, because she showed me and she led me to a lot of different information, I made the decision to try this. And I'm very grateful I did because 8 months after her injury, she was fully functioning sound and I was able to ride her, and it should never have happened. And I have other people's testimonials because I paid it forward. And we've got some pretty unbelievable um, stories that I'm going to share with you. But the swelling, when I said I hit a wall with her injury, if you actually look above her injury, how swollen that was, and it wasn't going down, I had no, like her leg is huge. So I wanted to kind of give you the context of where I was. So we were on a good healing path with her injury, but I couldn't get that swelling down for it to move forward more. Now, there's a lot of different, it started to decrease, the repair started to increase. I will show you the gory ones of where we started. So right here over to the left, she got her foot caught in a wire fence. And if that wire had not have broken, I wouldn't be here today to share this story. So I'm very grateful that it was like that. The thing was, my friend found her lying down in the field in a state of shock. So it was tough. So we got her stabilized. We pulled all the stops, but when it came to the repair, that's when I really got in there with her nutrition and the patches and everything. Now, if you know anything about horses, you usually would expect a really thick scar tissuey leg. It's just what it would look like, and I got none of that from the injury. If you look over to the right, you can see the curves. You can also see that scarring. The hair grew over in areas that shouldn't have, and there's no white hair. And it is better and better. And this summer I went to a clinic and I was able to ride 3 straight days. I have my horse back. Absolutely do. And I pay it forward, and we've helped so many other animals along the path. Now, where do you put them? First of all, I want to say trust yourself. You know your animals better than anybody else. Now, take a screenshot of this and translate it to any four-legged animal you'd like. These are the places they put the AccuLife patches on in the clinical studies to get the amazing results. It was 98%, and it took a couple of days for the other ones to catch up. But I'll tell you, with something that's non-transdermal, nothing's going into the body. It's a low-level light frequency that's actually approved by the World Anti-Doping Agency. Professional athletes wear them. And if we don't think we treat our horses like athletes and they do professional things for us, this is the best thing that I love to put in the hands of other people so they can take care of their horses. So you don't, I have demos out there on YouTube videos to sort of play around with it, but I show in the videos about a reaction, no reaction. What I want you guys to know is you don't have to do that. I was showing for a visual effect. If you think your horse is sore in a certain area, place them on that certain area. It does not have to be exact. Tan on left, white on right. As you saw in the photos, it works through the whole body system over time. So I want you to trust yourself. I want you to never come back thinking that I didn't try them because I didn't know where to put them. We have resources for you to watch, but really trust your gut. You know your horse better than anybody else, as well as your other pets. Now we have success stories. This is my friend's horse, Spartacus, a beautiful Friesian. We have his head cut off, so you can't see how gorgeous he really is. But he got his foot caught in a hay net. He was supposed to lose his whole hoof wall, and it was terrible. He cut off his circulation. She didn't find it right away. He lost all of his skin around the injury. And as you can see, he's got beautifully feathered feet. And we were not sure that that would ever grow back. But the thing was, we really focused on patching in areas just to send frequency there. And the hair grew back thicker than the hair that was on the other legs. So regeneration. David spent 25 years on research and regeneration of longevity, and I'm repeating myself there, regeneration and longevity. How can we wake our body up to have the most optimal repair? And so that's really what we get to witness here. When a horse has almost lost, the hoof wall because of circulation, and then it grows back better than the hair on the other leg. There's no scarring, there's no white. Um, we have something amazing in our hands. Amazing. Now, we love to just see what's going to happen. Harley is in her 30s. So at this point, she gets sweat spots. She gets the symptoms of hair not shedding out. She gets tired easier. She would meander up through the pasture. We started using the technology, and within 2 hours, she was galloping up. Jane, her owner, thought there's got to be something chasing her. I haven't seen her do this for months. And so it brought her spark back. And it also, over time, as you can see, it really showed up in her hair. She was able to shed out again. The cool thing is Jane went and got blood tests done on Harley, and it showed some markers going to closer to a disease or diagnosis of that horses get when they get older. And I think it was 9 or 11 months later, they went and did the blood test again, and the points lowered by 3.5 points, which the vet said, I don't know what you're doing, but this is unheard of. Once we get the points up, we usually just put you on some stuff so that it doesn't go higher, but we've never seen it turn and start reversing. So that's what we have. And then my horse, this is my horse Cowboy, decided that he would scrape his head. And there was a lot of swelling. And if you ever try and get anything into a horse's mouth when you're 5'2" and your horse is very tall, it's really, I should video it because it's quite humorous. I don't have to do that anymore. Eon, I did use Eon, I did use AccuLife, and I was able to lower um, that swelling in a very quick amount of time and not worry that I had to upset his stomach. So what is that worth for me? That's worth a lot. Now, my friend Kelly, she's got a lot of horses. It's not that she has like lemons of horses. She just has a lot of horses. So we have a beautiful case study of what we get to play with. And she bought a little filly. Actually, it was Faith's sister, and very quickly found out that there was some issues at the bottom here with the coffin bone. And so it happened before she got, and they had to do surgery and remove over 25% of the coffin bone. And we have Dr. Sylvia, and she looked and said these are very, very healthy. In a short amount of time, the amount of coffin bone that grew back, and from the surgery of, when was it here? December to February, 2 months is not what we get to see. The regeneration is quick. It's quicker than what we normally get to see, and we have so many stories. I've helped horses with tendon and ligament issues go from a 12-month down to 3 months fully sound with this technology. Now, we have affordable light therapy for you. Of course, we share this with every animal. AccuLife is made for horses, but we choose to use these on our pets, and I choose to use some of the other technology on the animals as well outside of AccuLife. So I do want to say, if you're not on affordable light therapy for you, the person who invited you here, please ask them to push you on to our site.